Warning: Tsukihime is an adult visual novel with themes and depictions of sex, sexual violence, rape, gore, and abuse. Warnings will be placed before any of these pop up in the video, just be advised that these themes are in the story.
Hello, and welcome back to Tsukihime. Last time, we went through the first 3 Inversion Impulse chapters, which covers Shiki's initial 3 days at the mansion. We last left our hero in bed after he killed his former classmate turned vampire Yumizuka. He returned to the mansion dazed and confused, where Akiha saw him in the lobby and tended to his injuries. With the next day's sun rising, we now enter Chapter 4, Cradle Garden. Shiki wakes up after a long sleep. The feeling of his knife from killing Yumizuka is still present. He laments not being able to help her, but understands that he probably couldn't have, as she was already dead. Hisui then enters the room to check on him. Shiki says he feels well, and he thanks her for always caring for him. As she blushes, Shiki's worries start to dissipate, as he hopes life will go back to normal. Hisui then asks him a question about what happened last night, and if Akiha found out. Shiki thought he left undetected, and is thus shocked at Hisui's questions. She then asks if these late-night outings will continue, and he says that they won't, and that last night settled everything. He then asks if Akiha is still here, and Hisui says that she'll be in the mansion, but has plans for the day. Though he doesn't understand what that means, Shiki thanks Hisui and tells her that he'll be in the sitting room soon. As she leaves, he stops her and tells her good morning properly.
In the sitting room, Akiha is on the sofa, Kohaku-san is keeping her company, and Hisui is standing by the wall. Good morning, Shiki-san. Morning, Kohaku-san. Sorry to be a bother, but could you fix me something to eat? I'm a little hungry from all that sleeping. Yes, right away. I will get it ready, so please wait a little bit. Kohaku-san quickly patters away towards the dining room. That leaves Akiha and Hisui, who is standing wordlessly like a statue. Yo, Akiha. Good morning. Do not good morning me, mister. Fuck, that made me laugh more than it should have. Akiha just looks at me with a dissatisfied look on her face and doesn't return my greeting. Like Hisui warned me, she seems very angry about last night. Telling me in the morning that leaving late at night is forbidden only to find me leaving late at night. It's only natural for her to be angry. Akiha, last night was... Nissan? Sleeping in this late? Just what were you thinking? Sorry. Jeez, I'm not mad about that. It's your day off and you've chosen to sleep in until now. It's your laziness that angers me. With a humph, Akiha angrily turns her face away. Well, it may just be my imagination, but peevishly is a better word than angrily. Well, I couldn't help it. I got in late last night, my body was just tired. I fucking love this expression. There's so much emotion in this. I fucking feel like she's about, well, excuse me, princess. That is entirely your fault. Staying out late until way past midnight. Just what kind of lifestyle did you have when you lived with the Arimas, Nissan?
Shiki explains that the Arimas also had a curfew, one that he followed. This naturally upsets Akiha, and she responds by floating the idea of using corporal punishment to keep him in line, before the conversation shifts to asking Hisui to wake him up in the morning. Shiki then asks the maid, and his request is promptly rejected.
So Hisui, could you please wake me up at 6:30 each morning? It would really help me out. I swing around to face Hisui. She stares right back at me. I refuse. I fucking love this part. Holy shit. I'm so glad I got to read it again, because it's still the funniest shit. And then this fucking face is a peak comedy.
Hisui details her inability to wake Shiki up, as well as his extremely peaceful sleeping, to the boy's embarrassment. He's saved from the conversation by Kohaku, who calls for him since his food is ready. He then bolts for the kitchen, and we time skip to after lunch.
After I eat lunch, Akiha and Hisui are still in the sitting room. It wouldn't be good to ignore them and go back to my room, so I sit on the sofa across from Akiha. Here, Shiki-san. You prefer green tea, right? Kohaku-san places an after-meal cup of tea on the table beside me. Yeah, thanks. If you don't mind, then. No, not at all. This is your home, so please relax a little more. Kohaku-san must be trying to make me feel more comfortable here because she takes good care of me. Jeez, I'm thinking I'm already used to this place. Do I still look a little strained? Yeah, just a little bit. Your shoulders seem a little tense. I wouldn't say you should be like back then, but you certainly can relax a little more. Kohaku, you shouldn't spoil Nissan. He's been living like a sloth at the Arima's house so long, it's probably good for him to be a little tense just at first. Akiha-sama, you really are strict with Shiki-san, are you not? I don't want to be strict. It's just that he is always so spaced out, I have to watch out for him. Huh? I'm a little surprised. When Akiha talks to Kohaku-san, there isn't a hint of her usual coldness. Maybe it's because they're so close in age, but they seem to be really good friends. I glance over at Hisui. Since Akiha dismissed all of the other servants except for Hisui and Kohaku-san, I think Hisui must be treated by Akiha as well. But since Kohaku-san is her complete opposite in personality, I have a feeling that there isn't much talk between Hisui and Akiha. May I be of service, Shiki-sama? Hisui realizes I was looking at her and asks me if there's anything she can do. No, it's nothing. I was just thinking you're really calm. Yes, it is something that Makihisa-sama taught to me. She answers very distinctly. The answer is so distinct I can't continue the conversation. An uncomfortable silence ensues. It's as if sensing this, Kohaku-san starts up a conversation.
Kohaku asks Shiki if he normally goes out at night, and he responds with a no. The last few days were just a special situation. He says he won't go out that late anymore, but he would be fine if he did, since he's not a kid. Kohaku and Hisui both reject the idea since he is a member of the Tono family. Also, given his health and the string of murders in town, it could be even worse to be out so late. Shiki says it should be fine since the incidents are over, internally thinking that with Yumizuka gone, so too should the murders. The girls present are somewhat surprised at this, given that the murder's ending has not been reported. On the contrary, Akiha brings up that the latest victim was from Shiki's class, the now dead Yumizuka. Though he knows that she died, his guilt from last night makes him feel Akiha's words as a more direct placement of blame. He's visibly shaken by it all, to Akiha's worry. Kohaku, sensing this, quickly changes the conversation.
Everyone, let's have a welcome party tonight. Just like that, Kohaku-san makes an announcement in a loud voice. Huh? Akiha and I say the same thing aloud, and even Hisui tilts her head. A welcome party for Shiki-san! Everyone is here, and we haven't even celebrated Shiki-san's arrival yet. So tonight should be Shiki-san's welcome party. Right? Kohaku-san looks at me and smiles. Crap. Why are Hisui and Kohaku-san so able to read my feelings? Akiha-sama, is this acceptable? If you allow it, we can start the preparations right away. Yes, Nissan has finally come back, and we haven't even done anything. I think it would be a good idea, but Hisui, you agree, right? Yes, if it is acceptable to Shiki-sama, I do not think it will be a bad thing. The three of them turn to stare at me. I've decided not to have any regrets, and I don't want Kohaku-san to worry about me. I'm in favor. I'm not able to turn down my own welcome party, am I? It's decided. Well then, I'll prepare the food. Hisui-chan, can you take care of my work today? That will be fine. Sweeping the lobby in the east building. Well then, I shall... What should I do, Kohaku? Akiha-sama and Shiki-san should rest in their rooms. I'll prepare dinner early to make time for the party, so if you have anything you need to do, please try to be done before then, okay? Okay. Kohaku-san goes into the kitchen and Hisui out to the courtyard. Well then, I'll go to my room. Okay, bye, Akiha. So, what should I do? So I can either help Kohaku or Hisui. Akiha gets nothing. Good day, sir. Let's just go help Kohaku. So last time I go and help Hisui, I don't remember if this is the point where we give her the ribbon as well, but it also doubled back into helping Kohaku as well. But what happens if we just go to her first?
Realizing that Kohaku has a lot on her plate, Shiki goes to the kitchen to help her out. The scene plays out mostly as it did in Hisui's route, so if you would like to see it in more detail, see part 15. Shiki enters the kitchen and helps Kohaku with some food prep. Kohaku is quietly focused on her cooking, while Shiki reminisces on his playtime as a kid. The playfulness of back then comes out in the present through the simple joys of cooking. Kohaku, seeing his smile, comments on how happy he looks while peeling the shrimp. While they chat, Kohaku informs Shiki that Hisui is not the best at cooking, but this is balanced out by her ability to clean and organize.
Is that so? I always felt that both you and Hisui could do anything. If that was true, I would be very happy. But both Hisui-chan and I are merely normal, so we have our faults too. Hisui-chan's sense of taste is a little strange, so even when she makes things that she thinks are delicious for Akiha-sama or I, it tastes really strange. I see. So that's why Hisui doesn't cook. And that's why her down button is bad food. Fun melty fact. Hisui's sense of taste is a little odd. Kohaku-san, what's her fault, I wonder? Well, come to think of it, you and Hisui are different in your own ways. Kohaku-san, you were always cheerful while Hisui stayed in the mansion back then. Oh, did I look that cheerful? I thought I was always watching you all, though. Yeah, I remember. You would always run with us, but you would tell us to stop doing dangerous things and look out for us.
Shiki then talks more about the past, and while he remembers it with some nostalgia, he recognizes his regret at not reaching out to the girl who stayed by the window. That girl, who he still believes to be Hisui, looks so lonely, and he wished to have brought her out to play with them. Kohaku responds that all she wanted was for Hisui to be happy, no matter the personal cost. Shiki responds that Kohaku is a good older sister, but this answer, or maybe the thoughts that her statement made her remember, messes up her flow, and she accidentally cuts her finger. This then leads to her being disappointed at herself, but still maintaining her smile and ignoring the pain. Shiki is confused and slightly perturbed at the situation, but he manages to convince Kohaku to take care of her wound. As she leaves, we time skip to the start of the party. The party starts with a clash of glasses. As the drinking commences, we skip a little bit ahead to the early evening, instead of the end of the night like in Hisui's route.
The drinking continues. I don't know how this happened, but it looks like the Tono Shiki welcome party has turned into just a drinking party. Isn't that just most parties, though? I'm not used to parties, so I don't know. I'm the guy that finds the cat and pets the cat the whole time. Akiha might be used to drinking, as she gulps down her glass as if she's drinking water. Kohaku-san slowly drinks with Akiha while refilling Akiha's cup. Fuck. Seeing that their faces still look normal, I'm guessing they don't show drunkenness on their face. Incidentally, Hisui sits on the couch dizzily after drinking just one sip. Akiha really has quite a lot of tolerance. Looking at the smiling Akiha and Kohaku-san, I gulp down my glass. It is just water, as I only drank a mouthful of alcohol during the toast. I take a bite of the smoked salmon on the table. It is exquisite. In the Tono house, even the snacks are first class. Even though there might be a lot of problems, it is pretty enjoyable right now. To be blunt, Akiha and Kohaku-san's conversation is outright boring. It's as if they were just discussing how the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Despite that, it all seems rather charming seeing them laughing at those kinds of conversations. On the other hand, Hisui is holding the glass she used during the toast and gazing vacantly. Whenever I look away from Hisui, the glass becomes a little more empty. She seems to be enjoying herself too. We're getting fucked up. I sneak another bite of food. Oh, that's an important thing. Always make sure you're at least eating and you have food in your stomach before you start drinking. You have no food, you're not gonna feel well. That alcohol is gonna hit like a truck. I sneak another bite of food. I'm pretty weak against alcohol, so I prefer to eat the finger food instead. And... Huh? What happened? Akiha stands up and walks over to me. Nissan, you've only been eating. You aren't going to drink any. Akiha looks at me a little dissatisfied. Now look, I don't care if you get drunk, but you shouldn't try to make others drink at your pace. I'm not used to drinking a lot, so if you want to drink with someone, Kohaku-san can... I try to point over to Kohaku-san, but she isn't there. It seems like she went to get more alcohol from the kitchen. Yeah, we getting fucked up. Well, oh my god. Well, excuse me. I'm not the slightest bit drunk. Raising her glass with one hand, Akiha leans forward. I see. Since Kohaku-san isn't here, I guess she's messing with me since she has no one to talk to. Kohaku-san doesn't have anything to do with this. We are talking about why you are not drinking. Well, I have been drinking. That's a lie. I haven't had a chance to pour you anything. I was drinking so that you could relax, but all you have been doing is munching away at the food Kohaku made. Okay, but like, it's good food. You could, instead of drinking so much, you could eat the food with them. Girl, please. You haven't even had one glass, right? Akiha pouts. Is it just me, or is her step a little unsteady? Akiha, I just have to ask. Are you drunk? Don't be ridiculous. I'm not drunk at all. You will be dead drunk long before I will. You are dead drunk. Hurry up and finish your glass. I will listen to whatever you have to say when you are done. She points commandingly at my glass, except her finger is wobbling all over the place. Akiha, I've said this before, but you really are drunk. Sheesh! You really are persistent. I told you I'm not drunk. Akiha yells and wobbles back. Her own voice causes her to get dizzy, so what part of that isn't being drunk? Oh well. Have a seat. We can chat a bit, I suppose. I pat the sofa next to me. Yes, I'll sit. Fuck it, I'll pour myself a drink. I found some red, white, and blue Smirnoff. I'm just gonna drink this raw. We're gonna see how bad of an idea this is. Oh man, not mixing this with anything is a mistake. Akiha sits down on the sofa. I don't know where all her bossiness disappeared to, but she just meekly sits down. For some reason, I really don't feel comfortable. Oh, I suddenly don't feel comfortable. Resigned, I pick up my glass. I take a light gulp. The unfamiliar alcohol burns my throat. It doesn't taste good at all. Yeah, that burning sensation is just rough. That's why you gotta mix that shit. Well, granted, he's drinking wine, so depending on the wine, it doesn't really sit well. Especially if it's on the bitter side, or on the drier side. I feel the ground dip beneath me, as if I was feeling dizzy from my anemia. But I can't say that this feeling's bad out either. I might as well just finish it off, so I down the rest of it. I'm surprised. You may have said differently before, but you sure seem to like drinking, Nissan. What do you mean? I'm not a big drinker or anything. It doesn't look like it. You were drinking that rather happily. Akiha leans over and takes a bottle from the table. I'll water it down, but do you have any other preferences? Akiha pours me some whiskey without asking. Common sense demands that I stop her. Cheers, I'll drink to that. I already did. But she seems so happy, I throw aside any thoughts of common sense. Please water it down a lot. Otherwise, I won't be able to drink it. As you say. Well then, let's start, shall we? Akiha happily fills my glass. Man, I don't even drink this much when I'm with Arihiko. I lean back on the sofa. I down the glass with my neck tilted so far back that I can see the ceiling. Holy shit. I drink what Akiha poured me slowly without letting my mouth go from the glass. Phew. Well, are you satisfied, princess? I don't really want to do that. Oh. Well, are you satisfied, princess? I placed the empty glass on the table. Oh shit, he slammed the entire thing? I'm not doing that. That's not responsible. That's the way to do it. I have to take points off for not drinking it fast, but it's still a passing grade. You're pretty strict. That was my new record, you know. You told me to drink it, so I pushed myself. Really? Oh, this is pretty rare, you keeping me company like this, Nissan. She chuckles. Pouring herself another glass, she downs it. My heart beats loudly at the sight of her face. She looks so mature when she's drinking. She closes her eyes and tilts her head back. Seeing her white throat voluptuously gulp down the alcohol, I forget about being drunk. Akiha lets out a deep breath. The glass is empty. She says under her breath something to the effect that it is delicious. Ah, that was delicious. Huh? What is it, Nissan? Is there something on my face? Nothing. It's nothing. Without thinking, I pick up my glass. Another one. This time, we'll have something a little bit stronger. Akiha fills up the glass again. I'm pretty sure I'm drinking vodka. I don't want to do any stronger than this. I haven't even finished my glass. I didn't really want another glass, but I suppose it wouldn't hurt. Oh, this is the one where instead of drinking responsibly, we get fucked up. Because in the last route, we just did not care. Like, we just drank normally. Trying to imitate Akiha, I drink it all in one gulp. It wasn't that much alcohol, but I shouldn't have drank it that fast. My head starts to spin and I fall back on the sofa. Nissan, are you alright? I'm fine. I just got a little dizzy, but I'm not drunk. I think I'll rest for a little bit. You go ahead and have fun. Laying back on the sofa, I stare aimlessly at the ceiling. Even though I feel completely drained, I feel incredibly good. Oh, I'm sorry, I forced you to drink too much. Akiha's voice sounds very sad. No, maybe it was a little much, but it feels good. I drank it because you drank it so deliciously. I guess the result is alright though. So go ahead and keep drinking. Once I settle down, I'll join you again. Okay, if you say so. I will wait until you are done. I hear the sound of something pouring. As expected, she pours another glass and drinks it. That's odd. This isn't anything much, but I feel incredibly relaxed here. All right. Taking a deep breath, I get up from the sofa. And I get up! Brr, 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 brr. Nissan, are you feeling better? I'm fine. I'll keep you company a little bit more. I give her my glass. Smiling, she pours me another drink. This time, I decide to drink at my own pace. Time passes by. Isui has fallen asleep on the sofa. Kohaku-san never did come back from the kitchen. What was she doing? The only ones still moving about are me and Akiha, but I am pretty drunk, so I wouldn't necessarily call myself moving about. But still, I want to keep Akiha company until Kohaku-san returns. Oh, she's definitely drunk. Nissan, you are very kind today. Akiha says this suddenly in a small voice. Huh? Kind? Me? Yes. Normally you are a very cold person. Acting like this is very rare, isn't it? Really? I don't really know, but maybe I am cold. Oh, Nissan, you don't understand yourself very well. You are a very kind person, but at the same time, you are very cold. Because you make no distinction between people, you don't have anyone that you like the most, or no matter if you hate them or like them. Nissan, you like and forgive everyone. But that is very cruel to the people who want to be closest to you. For you, everyone is the same. Me, Kohaku, Hisui, we're all the same for you. That isn't kindness. Like an old dog that knows its time of death is near, you simply don't want to leave anything behind. You were like that back then, but now, how do I say it? You seem very dangerous, and that makes me uneasy. Downcast, Akiha continues to speak, almost as if she was thinking aloud. Her glass is empty. She doesn't fill it, and her quiet voice echoes in the air. Hey, I just thought you were, just thought that maybe you were inconsiderate and very lonely. I was just thinking something stupid like that. There isn't anyone you hold dearest in your heart. Maybe you lost that person a long time ago. Back then I thought that if you were just liked me, that would be fine. At least there wasn't anyone you liked the most, so that would be good enough. But now it is... Oh, hi, Kohaku. Thanks for waiting. More food and more drink. With a smile, Kohaku-san returns. Cheers, I'll drink to that. Fuck. I really did pour a lot of vodka in here. I gotta be careful. Ah! Akiha suddenly swallows her words and with a sigh pours herself more to drink. Hey Nissan, please drink some more as well. It's just me drinking now. Taking the bottle that Kohaku-san brought, she pours some more drink into my glass. No, I've had enough. I've had twice as much as normal, so please let me pass on this one. If I do drink more, I really will end up in a bad shape. What are you saying? You haven't even had a bottle yet. It's way too early to say you've had enough. You said you'd drink with me, right? Come on, she says, holding out my glass. Okay, like a whole bottle of wine isn't the worst. I could definitely see you drinking that. But it definitely feels like he's drank way more than a bottle of wine. But I really am at my limit. Now, Akiha-sama. You do have to realize Shiki-san does not have the same tolerance as you do, Akiha-sama. Shiki-san, you should say no or you'll be in trouble. Akiha-sama doesn't get drunk no matter how much she drinks, so if you keep drinking with her until she's happy, you'll end up drinking until dawn. Wait a minute, Kohaku. You make me sound like some kind of alcoholic. Angrily, Akiha takes another drink. Beautiful point. Even though she drank a lot, it seems like that's her first glass. No matter what Akiha says, Kohaku-san seems to be right. Sorry, Akiha, I really have to stop now. You know my doctor says I shouldn't drink too much, right? Akiha descends into an apologetic silence. That is true. Don't look so sad. I can still keep you company until you're done drinking. How about that? She nods, but doesn't quite look satisfied. Well then, I will pour your drinks, Akiha-sama. See, Shiki-san is still here, so isn't everything okay, Akiha-sama? I guess. Certainly having Nissan keep me company is rare enough. I will let it go this time. Akiha holds out her glass to Kohaku-san. Smiling, Kohaku-san serves Akiha another drink, who starts to sip it slowly. Cheers, I'll sip to that.
The party starts to conclude as the sky gets dark. Shiki and Hisui talk for a bit, but he does not remember the content. He has not felt fully comfortable at the party and wants to try and find some time to be alone. However, before he can act on this, Akiha starts talking to him.
Nissan? Akiha, with eyes full of anxiety, looks up at me. What is it? Are you feeling okay, Akiha? No, that is not it. I just got uneasy all of a sudden. Hey, Nissan, you won't go away again, will you? No, I don't know what will happen in the future, but I've decided to stay here for now. At least until I finish school and until it seems that Akiha can manage herself. But that would imply that I would leave sometime. Stop, I don't want to hear those words. This is your house, so no matter what happens, it is best for you to live here, right? After saying this, she downs her glass. An amazing sight. As if drinking down her uneasiness, she empties her glass. Gulp, gulp. Her cheeks are faintly flushed, showing that she has a buzz. Akiha sighs. Why do you always make me feel so uneasy, Nissan? She must be drunk as she stares at me blankly. Seeing that, her heart starts to beat faster for no reason. Are you listening? As long as you are here, I am fine, but you always... Her eyes look straight ahead. Her cheeks are red and her eyes are glazed. This all seems very erotic. Maybe it's because I'm drunk as well. She is my sister, so why? Akiha... Nissan, I feel strange. She speaks aimlessly, as if she was someone else. If this keeps up, Akiha-sama, your glass is empty. I'll pour you some more, okay? Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Kohaku. Kohaku-san pours her another drink, which she downs promptly. Uh-oh. Kohaku-san, no. And then, all of a sudden, Akiha looks very serious. Akiha? That's odd. I seem to be a bit drunk. She massages her temple with her fingers. Seem to be drunk? You've been drunk for quite a while. What are you saying? I'm drunk, so of course I won't make sense. Okay. It's just such a blunt statement of such a contradiction. She places her glass on the table quickly. That's strange, I just got started. Saying that, she collapses towards me. Okay. You know what? That's a very bold move, Akiha. I appreciate this. It threw me so much for a loop that it didn't make sense. But it made sense. But I'm glad it didn't. Hey, Akiha, what are you... That is pretty obvious, though. Hey. There is no response. Her breathing tells me that she is happily asleep. She was like, I do believe to be on fire. Huh? This is rare indeed. I have not seen Akiha drunk in years. Kohaku-san smiles amusedly. Kohaku-san? What do you mean? Well, Akiha-sama does not usually get drunk, but when she drinks over a certain limit, I guess all the alcohol hits her and she falls asleep. So for Akiha-sama, being drunk is the same as going to sleep. I don't know if that is good or bad, but if Akiha-sama got drunk like most people, wouldn't that be scary? Shiki-san, could you imagine a rampaging Akiha-sama? Kohaku-san paints a very frightening mental image. Deciding not to answer, I look at Akiha's sleeping face. Akiha is sleeping contentedly. She is leaning with her whole body up against mine. I can feel her breathing and body warmth. I remember that strange feeling I felt before. She must have been completely drunk because she seemed like a totally different person. I can't deny that I was utterly flustered. Having her sleep so contently against me puts me in a daze. Without a doubt, she is very beautiful. I couldn't believe she was my sister when I met her after 8 years. But that doesn't mean anything. All I can think about is that looking at her resting up against me is a good thing. Without a doubt, she is my sister. One of the reasons I came back to the mansion was to protect Akiha. Shiki-sama. If Akiha-sama sleeps like that, I believe she might catch a cold. That's right. It is October, so we shouldn't let our guard down. I will take Akiha-sama up to her room. Isui hoists Akiha over her shoulder and exits the room. The only ones left are me and Kohaku-san. Well, if Akiha-sama is asleep, then we should end this party. I will take care of tidying things up, so please return to your room, Shiki-sama. Shiki-san. I nod. I really do want to help her, but I'm a little too drunk for that. If I helped in this condition, I'd probably just get in the way. Sorry, Kohaku-san. Please take care of things. Just leave it to me, please. Good night, Shiki-san. I go out to the courtyard to clear my head of some of the alcohol. The breeze is a little cool, so it feels good against my hot skin. This is bad. I really did drink too much. All that drinking gave me a headache, and I started to feel a little dizzy. I'll probably have some nightmares tonight. Well, that is just something I have to face after drinking. Akiha seemed really happy tonight. 1 or 2 nightmares is a small price to pay for that. Sitting down on a chair, I take a deep breath. The night breeze blows against my skin. There is nothing but silence. All the other houses are far from the Tono mansion. Doing this, I feel like I'm in a mansion in the middle of the woods, and I almost forget that I am a normal student. An empty, weak atmosphere, a soundless scenery of stagnation, the small fragment of memory about a garden. There is no one here. Or there is no one there. No father to yell at us. No one to tie us down and lock us away. Or even that person who curses Tonoshiki. A long time ago, it all wore away, declining into something worthless. Thinking about these rambling ideas, my eyelids start to droop more and more. Shiki-san, if you sleep there, you'll catch a cold. And then, that voice jars me from my sleepiness. I'm assuming that's Kohaku. Oh, it is. I'm sorry, Shiki-san. I guess it would have been better if you didn't drink anything tonight. Kohaku-san says this with her usual smile, looking at me. It seems that Kohaku-san must have guessed I came here to cool off. I guess I got a little carried away. Not thinking about your health, I guess I got a little carried away. Not thinking about your health, I forced you to do too much. It was very tough, wasn't it? Kohaku-san apologetically keeps her distance. What is this? This doesn't seem like the normal, cheery Kohaku-san. It was my decision to drink, so she shouldn't feel bad about it. Jeez, this isn't like you at all, Kohaku-san. I look at Kohaku-san, but she is still looking apologetic, so I sleepily gaze into the forest. It wasn't tough at all. Akiha was so happy and it was fun. Kohaku-san, you're just thinking about it too much. Staring blankly into the forest, I try to make my voice as gentle as possible. A brief silence ensues. Suddenly, like a rabbit poking its head out of a bush, Kohaku-san comes into view. Oh my god, this is fucking pretty. Kohaku-san? Ah, so you're awake, Shiki-san. You got so quiet all of a sudden, I thought you fell asleep. She says this, scolding me. It seems like she wants to tell me that I shouldn't sleep here. I'm fine, Kohaku-san. I'm awake, so don't worry. I'll go back to my room once I'm done cooling off, so you can go back inside. I refuse. I want to cool off as well, so I will keep you company until you are done. With her usual smile, Kohaku-san looks longingly at the fallen leaves in the forest. Well, if you feel like it, that's fine, Kohaku-san. Kohaku-san doesn't answer, and she walks over the leaves, which crinkle as she takes each step. Silence ensues again. Thanks, Kohaku-san. It was really fun today. I really do mean it. What do you mean? Today wasn't something you should thank us for. Maybe, but it was really fun. Come to think of it, it was the first time we did something like that, and I finally felt like part of the family. It isn't like we didn't do these things like that when I stayed at the Arimas. It's just that when I lived there, I didn't ever want to be a bother, and I couldn't concentrate on having fun like today. Family? Tilting her head to the side, she asks in a soft voice. For a brief instant, it looks like Kohaku-san removed her usual mask, but she returns to her usual self. But Shiki-san, as long as you stay at the mansion, you won't ever have the family you were dreaming about. All your relatives shun you, and the only ally is Akiha-sama. That means your life here will be very painful. What she says is correct. 8 years ago, I was treated badly enough to get me out of this house, so it's natural that they still think badly of me. Well, I'm prepared for that, but it doesn't really matter. Akiha put up with it for 8 years. I'm her bigger brother, so I should be able to put up with it easily. Those 8 years, since she was little, Akiha had to endure a very strict upbringing. Compared to that, my relatives disliking me really isn't that much. I see. Akiha-sama is really lucky having a brother that thinks so much of her. I don't know. I don't think I'm a good brother to Akiha. Still smiling, she continues to giggle. Seeing her laugh so much makes me feel a little embarrassed. But that is strange. Thinking only of Akiha-sama and not thinking of yourself like that. Huh? You too have led a bad life. Being disinherited and sent away. There had to have been some hard times for you too. And when you finally started to really get along with the Arima family, you come back here. You were made to leave a normal family that suited you the most due to a mere whim of the Tono house. I don't even know how to respond. That morning 3 days ago, I remember the face of Keiko-san standing in the doorway as we parted. I didn't want to see that always steadfast person smile so sadly. Like Kohaku-san said, I left a big part of me behind that was so attached to them when I left. See, Shiki-san? Don't tell me that you never thought of that. No, that's something I shouldn't be thinking about. Kohaku-san, why are you... I wanted to ask her why she was bringing all this up now. I wanted Kohaku-san, Akiha, and Asui to think that I came back here because I wanted to. Shiki-san, I hear her voice. I can't ignore her voice, so I look up. You know it too. You would have been happier staying with the Arima family. But why is she? Why? Why did you come back to the mansion now, when there is only unhappiness waiting for you here? Why is she saying that, with almost a crying face? I can't answer. I just stare at Kohaku-san, as if I was in some sort of trance. You're mean, asking me to talk about such difficult things. I am sorry. I guess I must be drunk as well. Saying such things, there must be something wrong with me. She is smiling. Smiling like that, it makes it seem like she didn't even ask me something so serious. Kohaku-san, about the subject earlier, isn't it natural for me to come back here to my own home? I couldn't leave Akiha all alone, and I couldn't burden the Arimas forever. So that is your reason for coming back? Kohaku-san seems like she understands, but that is a lie. There was another reason, something more important than Akiha. Shiki-san? What is it? Oh, it's different, Kohaku-san. Really, there is another important reason. Really? Does that mean it was a secret? I don't know. It isn't something that it's a secret, but it's an important memory that I have that I don't want to talk about. I borrowed something when I left here, so I came back to return it. But it seems like Hisui doesn't remember it though. I get up from the chair. I've cooled down, so I'm going to go back to my room. Raising a hand, I exit the courtyard. Damn! No! Just the fucking smallest change in her fucking mouth killed the shit out of me. Kohaku-san just looks at me, dumbstruck. You fucking missed it, bro! Shiki, what the fuck? was right there! No!
Shiki lays in bed and thinks about Kohaku's words. They bring him back to when he was banished from the mansion.
I still remember the time when my father said those words to me, and my feelings as I left my room. That time when I realized that I would be all alone, just like I was before I met Sensei. Not being able to keep my promise with Sensei, I guess I became empty inside. That time, the girl I spoke with only once, was my only saving grace. I don't know what kind of magic was in those words. Give it back, okay? Just those words. But to me, those words meant so much back then. I always thought those words were important. Well, it seems that Hisui forgot she ever said them, though. Oh well, I guess it can't be helped. It was just a promise we made as children. It is a shame, but it really can't be helped. 8 years is a long time. Actually, remembering a promise from your childhood is stranger than forgetting it, I suppose. Well, I should sleep. Taking a deep breath, I close my eyes. I sink into a deep sleep.
Shiki wakes up to his body heating up drastically. He can't think straight, but he feels the presence of someone else in the bedroom. He leaves and eventually finds himself in the commercial district, the clock telling that it's past midnight. The burning in his body matches a feeling of excitement in himself, words flowing and cutting through his mind as it continues. Entering a dark back alley, his mind is solely focused on his heartbeat. 3 people are dead. A count with blood-stained fingers confirms it. 3 people he doesn't know. The knife engraved with Nanatsu Yoru is the murder weapon. Shiki's thoughts then come back.
This means it doesn't even require thought. I did this. I pick up my knife. I can't believe it, but what's done is done. Now that I realize it, my once burning body has cooled down. Now that I'm done, I should go back to the mansion. Someone's coming. Someone comes down the pathway. Great. This place is already overflowing with spaghetti, and now I have to make some more meat sauce on top of that. The footsteps approach. The dark shadow becomes a little clearer. I grip my knife. That shadow enters the alley. Kin! The sound of metal clashing. I can't believe it. Without any indication at all, that shadow totally intercepted my attack. The enemy also uses a knife. Our attacks canceled each other's fatal strikes to the throat. Huh? That's surprising. Our voices overlap in the darkness. We both put our knives away at the same time. I didn't expect to see my kind here after coming back. It's my first time seeing a killer. He laughs as he says this. A pure laugh without any bad intention. It's like the laugh of a boxer that finally cut weight and steps into the ring to face his greatest lifetime rival. Probably, I have the same smile on my face. Heh. He snorts as he turns around. We walk out to the main street. This looks like a good spot. It's a bit odd for 2 grown men to be standing about, isn't it? I sit down on the sidewalk. As if he just thought of something, he keeps walking to the vending machine. Hey, give me some money. I don't have any. I'm not exactly rich right now, but I give him the biggest coin I have. It's one of those dollar bill coins. I always wanted to try this. He says this happily and buys 2 cans of coffee. Catch. Alright. I get the change and a can of coffee. He sits by my side and takes a drink out of the can. For some reason, I think this is all I've been doing all day. Yuck. I don't think cigarettes and coffee are that great. I wonder why adults even drink these things. They're training their endurance. Being an adult is pretty hard work. Ah, I see. You're pretty smart. He chuckles, delighted. I take a drink as well. I can't help but agree with him. They must be awfully suicidal, wanting to drink something that tastes like poison. Well, anyway, you're a pretty awful guy. How could you just suddenly strike at someone's throat like that? You're one to talk. You were trying to kill me too. Is that so? Well, what's done is done. We're both alive, so let's call it even. Well, he's right. We both tried to kill each other, so even if one of us died, we'd still be even. As a competition, that sounds right. Even though he keeps saying it is disgusting, he keeps happily drinking the coffee. Well, this isn't bad once you get used to it. This feels like a get-together of bad boys kicked out of society. He says so, killing his smile. Really? Well, you want to smoke? We look more like bad guys that way. I'll pass. They numb the brain. If you want to remain pure, you shouldn't take any poison. So says the guy drinking coffee. What's with you? You're pretty nitpicky for a killer. Humans eat poison every day, so isn't this alright? You have some tolerance against it too, right? He laughs loudly. I feel the exact same way, so I take another sip. I speak with him for another hour. We ramble about nothing as we watch cars go by. The most pointless thing was probably our special powers. My eyes that can see death. His body that dies with great difficulty. We began by discussing their principles. I see. Well, does that mean you can kill the 5 senses? He says such nonsense. I can't do that. I can't kill something so vague that it needs an expression to be understood. Not at all. Look, if you wanted to kill sight, kill the eyes. Hearing, kill the ears. I could do at least that much, but you're different. You can kill things without crushing them. The moment you see those lines, you can kill. Not the object, but its very meaning. That's why something beyond the 5 senses, like the 6th sense, spirit and emotion, you should be able to kill those things too. Well, he has a point. My eyes themselves are an aberration. Using logic to understand them is a mistake from the start. Then I can kill that too? That apparition that I saw once in my childhood. That haunting thing called Crimson Red Vermilion. But that seems hard. If I do that, I don't know how much longer I could stay sane. Yeah, it's like trying to calculate as a god using the mind of a human. You'd cripple yourself for sure. He says this as he walks towards the vending machine again. Hey, so looking at the vending machine, he holds his hand behind him towards me. I toss him a coin, which he catches skillfully and uses to buy another can of coffee. After drinking this, he turns to me again. It really has been a long time since I talked to another person. That's really weird. That's strange. Were you stranded on an island somewhere? Huh? I'm still stranded on this island. It seems I'm out of alignment with society. They say someone who kills people for no reason is just crazy. There's really no way someone like me, who's out of tune, could have a conversation with someone in tune. Huh. So we're out of tune. Yeah, it's not a matter of who's off tune. Those out of tune with society are the ones out of tune. Really? Maybe society is the one out of tune instead. What do you mean by that? Exactly what I said. Didn't you say that just now? It's like majority rule. The view of the minority aren't the same as the views of the majority are said to be unusable and rejected. It doesn't matter who is right or wrong. If you don't fit in, you're left out, regardless of if you're right or wrong. The term out of tune doesn't follow universal rules. So you're saying that trying to say that the killers like us aren't evil. Who knows? I don't know about good or evil, but if you think about it logically, we aren't the ones out of tune. Let's see. How about using boxers as an example? It doesn't have to be boxers, but it is an easy example to understand. Boxers, their job is to punch people, but not just to punch people. They painfully cut weight and train every day to skillfully punch people, to effectively punch others, to efficiently defeat others. They diligently work on it every day like sharpening a blade. What do you think of that? Huh, there are people like that, and... No, that's not all. They punch each other, but they don't kill their opponents. Sure, some could die from accidents, but it isn't considered murder. Isn't that incredible? You mean it's okay to kill? No, you aren't supposed to kill. But you could. Isn't that a huge contradiction? That's not all. Because a boxer's fist is considered a weapon, they aren't allowed to fight outside the ring. This is incredible. They know a boxer's fist is a weapon, so why is there such a profession in the first place? If it's a weapon that can kill, they should abolish it. Killing is wrong, and killing is wrong. But this world is full of tools to kill. Even the law allows it. But they say it's not alright to kill. This can only be considered chaos. If common sense is what is thought of as good by a majority of people, then we aren't out of tune. If there isn't anything out of tune, it's this world. All that said, I don't necessarily hate boxing. There are a lot of professions out there, but there aren't any others where you can be so stoic about your objectives. You strengthen yourself by cutting yourself off from all temptations. Humans are interested in strength they can easily comprehend. That's why competitions will never go away. Of all these competitions, the ones people like the most are where the contestants hurt each other or hurt each other. Admiration of the strong, a mindset that can only be drawn towards strength. That is probably a very healthy mind. As guys like him and I can think only of results, our colors might be similar, but our shapes should be completely different. Something you can concentrate on and forget yourself. That doesn't become an individual's free will. Those that worship education, those who immolate themselves in art, those who advance themselves in business. If an individual could decide that, then this world would be a pretty puzzle that could be understood. But this puzzle is full of holes. Pieces are missing, and a lot of pieces don't fit. I see. You like to talk a lot, don't you? I had a friend like that once. How do I say this? Well, he didn't have anything, which is why he looked like he didn't want anything. To me, he seemed very isolated. Isolation is just another name for loneliness, right? That is why it bugged me. Didn't want anything. What about you? Is there something you want? I don't know. I think I used to, but I can't remember now. What about you? Everyone wants something, but I haven't found anything worth dreaming for. A fire within me that caused me to lose my mind. Tonight was maybe my first time feeling that. That means you're a killer too. I don't know. I can't be sure yet. What about you? Is killing fun? Are you stupid? If it was fun, I'd be doing it nonstop. There isn't any reason. Once you start, you just get hooked. I see. I think I understand a little bit. In other words, it's not a matter of liking or disliking murder. It's a matter of when he does kill someone, whether he can devote himself to the action. That's probably the difference between being in or out of tune. Hey, didn't you ever take apart a radio when you were a kid? Radio? Ronnie James Dio? I never killed anyone like that. Right. Thanks for being a moron. To be honest, that was a joke. Animate objects and inanimate objects are completely different. Maybe people like us should be doctors instead. A doctor? I hate medicine. When you get a shot, don't you feel yourself getting diluted? It's like you're becoming a puppet, right? Is that so? I have my own doctor, so I take medicine like it was nothing. It really was a lot of fun. He stands up, and, with empty eyes, he looks down at me. Well, we don't need two of us in this town, right? Two lions in a cage this small won't ever be able to mark their own territory. He looks like he is going for his knife. The inorganic reek of murder. He really does want to fight to the death. You shouldn't, I say quite naturally. Why? Well, as a living creature, you're stronger than me, but if it's a fight to the death, I'm superior to you. He grinds his teeth. After a twitching smile, he laughs extremely loudly. What? What is it? Was it that funny, killer? The man continues to laugh. Just when I thought I'd just have to leave him, he stops laughing and looks at me. You're right, you know. Saying that, he starts to walk away. I guess this is a good opportunity. Now that someone like you is here, I should probably leave town. I don't really intend to take your place. No, it's useless. You got hooked tonight, right? Then it'll be the same tomorrow. You won't be able to endure even for a day. Well, I hope we won't meet again. Raising a hand, he disappears. Hearing that we wouldn't meet again, I get a little sad. At my feet, there are about 10 cans of coffee that he drank. In other words, he'll never pay me back for these. Bro, you did not just drink that much cup of coffee. What the fuck? My coffee. I make it back to my room. It's almost dawn. I should just forget everything and go to sleep.
After a long conversation on killers in society, the night truly draws to a close. We've learned a lot more about the people in Shiki's new life, as well as a shift in the narrative compared to Hisui's route. Next time on Tsukihime, we will start Chapter 5, Kane 1. I will see you then.